I'm on Australia, as mentioned, and I'll be taking you through a tour of our information hub. It is going to feel a bit backwards, so we're going to start off with an introduction. I am going to ask you to register and fill in a little cognitive IQ test, and then I'll show you why the app is so great. In terms of getting yourself onto the platform, this is where the trust comes in. You'll have to install an app. They're available on the Android App Store and the Apple App Store. And if you don't have your phone here, but you do have your laptop here, you can go to app.informationhub.io and you can register completely free. We won't send you any spam. We won't sign you up for random sites or send spam emails or anything like that. As soon as you have the app installed, and you have registered, you'll, as soon as you log in, see that you have access to one project. If you're one of our long-time supporters and you've already registered on the Information Hub, unfortunately, you won't have access to that project. We do have to go back and add all the people that have supported us over the last 2 years. As soon as you've registered and you have the app, you've logged in, I would like you to either go to apps, cognitive reflective test, and then there's a form you can fill in, 3 short questions. It's a bit of an IQ test. Some of those questions will look quite familiar if you've done brain scratches. If you're one of our kind of all-time supporters, you can go to browse on the top right-hand side. There'll be a shared forms tab, and then you'll find the same questionnaire that you can fill in. So while I'm going through all the pros and cons of our amazing tool, there's a project that will start gathering all these answers, and then afterwards we can laugh at the people who can't do basic math. So, the Information Hub. We currently are nearing our first 1,000 users, so hopefully after everyone here is registered and the, I think 18 or so people online have registered, we should be at, let's have it, 900. And then we'll do another training session in a month's time, and we'll add another 50 and another 50. Then we'll have a big party as soon as we hit the 1,000. We're currently storing 66 gigabytes of data, which isn't a lot. We have a few projects in the pipeline. We plan on adding terabytes of data onto our platform. There's quite a few tables, projects, groups, organizations, census that we keep track of on the farm just down the road, on the Hatfield campus, down in KZN on some industry partners' farms, all over the world. So, instead of me talking about what the Information Hub is, I think showing you our little promo video we released a few weeks back might be a lot better. Oops, well, I can go to the next slide, by the way. So if anyone is struggling to register or get to the questionnaire, we do have Heinrich at the back running around making sure that everyone is sorted. So if you do have a problem, just flag him down. Also buying time because I'll probably build the app a lot faster than I can, than I should. They should have took more time talking about biodiversity. So as I go through the presentations, I'll highlight some of the core features that we have access to. Then I'll quickly build the app that you're now currently filling in, the questionnaire, the tables, the dashboards associated with that. And then if we have a bit of time left, I'll show you some of the more interesting things we've been doing. So, what is the Information Hub? You've now took a leap of faith, registered, logged in, filled in a questionnaire that you now feel silly about filling in. But what is the Information Hub? It is a cloud-based, community-driven, self-help data platform for transdisciplinary scientific research. Yeah.
Just to disturb you, there's an online exam at 11. She said she's getting a 404 error.
404 error. Page not found. What did she click on that guy? It didn't give her a page.
What did you click on that? Respond. Level? Because he's put it now.
Okay, it's good news. So, what does transdisciplinary research look like? Well, it's a collaboration between academia, which most of you will be familiar with, but the information hub is a lot more than just academics and data. It's a combination between that, our industry partners, the public, and then obviously government. And the information hub is this melting pot of all these different people working together, sharing data, collecting data, and we think building an amazing product. So what is the great data challenge? Why is data such a problem? Why aren't people just sharing it all over the world? The big problem is capturing and collecting it. You can have all the information you want stored in theses and on Google Drives, but if no one has access to it, then it's completely pointless and useless. So how do you capture that data? How do you collect that? And how do you manage that? How do you add collaborators to access that data? How do you integrate that data with AI models, with dashboards, with notification systems? And then how do you share all those results with other people? And I think the information hub is a very clever solution to all of these problems. So the information hub adds value at every step of the process, collecting the data, adding collaborators, integrating external sources, and then producing products, be that research, models, dashboards, notification systems, or for just daily reporting. And at every step of this process, we keep the user in mind and we keep security in mind. So one of our big selling points is the security. You don't want to add your data onto some random server that goes overseas, and then you don't have a say in who can and cannot have access to it. So the information hub has a robust security system that allows you to decide who's on your project, who has access to the data, and if they have access to the data, what can and can they not do with it. On top of this, you manage all of your data yourself. And this isn't just limited to tabular data. This includes multimedia, file uploads, anything that you can store on your computer, you can store on the information hub. You can then take that data straight from the information hub and integrate it directly into our dashboarding system. This is a dashboard of every weather station in South Africa. And we have the data, terabytes of that, of every station for the last, I want to say 50 years. Available for people to use for research, for projects, or just to look at because it looks nice. You can also, after you've collected your data, made your forms, made your dashboards, you can use our no-code app builder. That's the little questionnaire you filled in to then create these little applets that allow you to collect more data, to give people in field across the world access to the important parts of your project. On top of this, if you aren't as keen on using the website as most people are, and or if you're a bit more technically inclined, we have an API and an application programming interface available where you can straight from your R code or Python code pull all of your data off the information hub directly into your project. No need to download it, no need to have version 1.2.2.2.2 final 4.text. You can just pull the data straight off the information hub as soon as you run your analysis. Some of you, as soon as you fill in the form, will get an email saying that you filled in a form with a link to the form and to the project that the form belongs to. If you have sensors with us, then you might have a love-hate relationship with our notification system. We've just deployed a Telegram bot, Persephone, that will let you know as soon as one of your sensors is misbehaving. As I understand it, one of the insect tunnels at biocontrol went a bit over temperature, I think over a weekend. And after about 80 or so notifications, I got a very angry email saying, can I please turn off the bot? They know it's broken. They're fixing it. Can I just make it stop? So we turned off the notification for that specific tunnel. but it gives you that power of knowing when something goes wrong instantly. And this is all integrated with your dashboards, with your data, with everything. So we pride ourselves on the IoT project. Currently, we're at 296 sensors. These include sensors on the experimental farm, the biocontrol facility, campus, UP facilities, the Java Art Center, down in KZN on a farm, at a nursery. We're doing microclimate studies. And this is just going to grow. We have a campus digital twin project that we're working on that plans on adding tens of thousands of sensors to the entirety of Hatfield, to the campuses, to all kinds of places to monitor building temperatures, traffic, occupancy. So 296 is just a drop in the bucket of what will become the IoT project on the information hub. Another one of our big projects is the biosecurity hub, which integrates data from field collections, monitoring, the Biosecurity Africa app that a lot of people will be familiar with, historical data from our collaborators at the ICFR, government, and all of this is collected, stored, integrated into one single dashboard that gives you a perfect overview of the current state of invasive and pest pathogens in South Africa. But that's all nice and well and great, and everyone came to for the demo. So the best place to start would be to see if I can rebuild the little app that everyone has been playing around with using the things at hand. So if I go to app.information.io, and I will make a lot of spelling mistakes. Then I can log in because I have an account. No, this please. So everyone should have the example project if you're a new registered user. If not, you should have it by next week. You should not have as many projects as I do. I do a bit of work on the information library. I'm proficient in using it. So as soon as you log in, you are more than welcome to create as many projects as you like. They're free. Don't upload 2 terabytes. If you do, just give us a heads up so that we can create storage for you. But otherwise, you can just go ahead and create a project. Nothing. You should only have one person who can own the project, yourself. I do belong to both organizations, so I can add them as the owner of this project. So campus, well, just create one. Okay. Then somewhere in my list of projects, there should be campus forum. We can search for that. Just refresh the page. Oh, live demos. See, climate demo. Okay, so we'll just take this project. But it should show up if the internet isn't too slow. So you'll end up on this homepage of your project. It won't have anything in it. And then you have access to all of the tools you have to do to create whatever your desires. Dashboards, forms, tables for storing tabular data, storage for storing unstructured data, files, multimedia, anything you can upload. A manager is a Kanban style task manager type system, wiki for keeping documentation, And then the app feature, users, so who belongs to this project, and let's say unique, and then your project settings. So in our case, we want to make a very simple questionnaire. Few questions, a bit of user metadata, nothing too fancy. On the information hub, you need to start at the table level. You need to design the layout of your data, then create a form to collect that data. And as soon as you populate your table with data, then you'll probably create a dashboard for that. So we'll just start off with tables. And then at the top right, create a table, give it a name. And then anyone who's familiar with databases know that you have to have a primary key. This is just a way to distinguish between specific rows. Each row needs to be unique in some way for the database to store it. And the first column is usually the primary key. We do allow you to use your own text-based one if you have a sample number or accession number, a link or anything like that. If you don't have anything, just leave it on integer and it will auto-generate those as you insert that into table. So what do we want to store in this little table of ours? Good thing would be to know when the individual filled in the form. We would maybe like to know what email they used, what device they filled the form in. Was it on an iPhone and Android? Did they use the web interface? And then we probably want to store their location. You'll have to talk to your users about that, but for now we'll add a latitude. Then we need to, considering a latitude isn't a piece of text information, we'll make it a double precision just so that we're sure that we have enough decimals in case they're just 2 meters apart. We have to store the latitude and the longitude for their location. Always spell that word wrong. Also double precision. And then we have a question 1. Maybe require them to insert a integer, some quick math, and then a second question. Also make this an integer. And then create. It's as simple as that. So then if you open up the campus forum, you'll see it looks like Excel. You can add more rows, you can add more columns, and you can even import data from a file that you have in storage. We now have a table, but we'd like to have someone collect data for us. This could be a field extension officer, this could be a survey, it could be a fun IQ test that you hand out at a presentation. So we go to our forms, we create another form, and just put a form. And then edit. And you can add a section. So let's make the first section the information one. Save it. And then like Google Forms, you fill in the question name. So let's make the first one a README, just for information's sake. Those of you who filled in the questionnaire would have seen that there was a little README button. If you clicked on it, it would just give you the 3 questions with a bit of an explanation. So that specific question was a content markdown question. Now, markdown is just a fancy way of formatting text without actually opening up Word. So if you use, for example, a hash, you would get a header, and it does have a preview at the side. Second header, and then this. Okay. So the question. Now, some pieces of information you'd like to automatically collect. If someone needs to fill in a form and you want to collect the current date, then you don't want them having to click through multiple menus to be like, today's date is this. So there are some questions that we support that auto fill in as soon as the form is submitted. So for the date, do we want to require it? No, we'll capture it automatically. We would like to hide the question just so that it's not in the way of the user. Use the submitted date as the default value, yes. And then we don't care about an icon or a text. And then we just have to tell it where in our multiple tables we'd like to store it. We'd like to store it in the campus forum one, and we would like to put it in the date column. So question. Oh. We also said we'd like to capture the email. So user info question, is it hidden? Yes. Link to table campus forum, and we'd like to put this in the email column. Also mentioned we'd like to get their device. So which device did they submit the form? Device info, write the question, and then we can ask for the device ID, the device name, or the platform. So let's do with device ID, campus forum. So, then we can add another section. This is where the actual questions would go. The first thing we'd like them to fill in is their current location. We have an icon, paperclip, location. Where do we want to store the latitude in that table, in that column? Same for longitude. Then question one. And add a description to the question of the number. Like to make it a number question. So there's different kinds of questions that allow you to limit what a user can and cannot do. If you just leave a text, they can put in whatever their heart desires. If you want to limit it, for instance, when they're collecting data about what province they grew up, you can make a drop down that only has the provinces of South Africa, then they don't make any spelling mistakes. The number type question allows them to only type in numbers. So no ability to add a unit to it, no ability to type any character except 0 to 9. We would like them to have this a required question. We do not want to hide it. No default value. We could say that you aren't allowed any numbers between, only allowed numbers between 0 and 10. Paperclip. This is question. And this answer should go into question. Also number, also required. Zero. Current question 2. You're done. So if you go back to forms, and you open it up, you'll see there's a little, your first data, a little bit of markdown, and then the ability to pick a location. You can choose any place on a map. You can use your current location. You could edit the coordinates by hand if you'd like, and then you can fill it in. It's as easy as that. And as soon as the form is submitted, it will automatically get added to your table. So you can see that on a stone filled in the form, currently located at this location. I have no idea what a 5 was, and 23 is. And then the device ID. With, if I remember, yeah, today's day. Okay. So now you have the form, but me having the form is kind of pointless. You can share the form with everyone. So if you click on share, it will bring this pop-up with a tool, and you can open this up in any browser. Great thing about the shareable form is that it only gives you access to the form. You can't click back to the project, you can't see the tables, you can't see the dashboard, you can only fill in the form. This is great for people who don't want to register on the site. They should, but they don't have to. Or people who are just out in the field doing some survey, they just want to fill it in, go on with their life. They don't care about the actual data collection. We also support offline mode. So if you plan on not having reception and you'd like to continue filling your form in, you can tag it for offline use. And then you can go to your user settings. There's a button that says go offline. This just ensures that you are offline, because sometimes you have 20, 30 submissions in queue, and then you drive through a little bit of Wi-Fi, and then it attempts to sync your data, and you weren't really ready, and it fails. So you forcing yourself to be offline is a nice way of saying, I am now going to be outside cell range, and I'll tell you when I'm back, and then you can start syncing my data. Okay, so now we have the form. I've filled in the form once. But this form itself isn't all that pretty. If you had to open this up on the phone, you'd see this horrible maze of text that has to wrap around, and the map is too big, and the questions aren't that great. So settings for the form has a few nice things you can do. You can add a mailing list. So anytime someone fills in the form, they get a copy of an email saying, I filled in the form, and you get a copy saying someone filled in your form. And then you can go through all these layout types. Icons and text are nice. There we go. Now we didn't specify something for the README, but you can see you get that same look that the questionnaire had. You can also, if you specify, you can also specify colors. You could effectively whitelist your form. You could add your own icon. You could choose out of the limited colors that we have available. Not sure if golden turquoise works, but you can require that the person filling in the form is logged in. If you collect something like the user email, if they're not logged in, you'll get a anonymous@gmail.com email as a placeholder. But otherwise, logged in users will have their emails collected. You can decide. And if you don't like the form, you can always delete it. So now you have the form, you're collecting data, it's in your table, but you'd like to see what's actually happening in your table. So you can create a dashboard. And okay. So as soon as you open up your dashboarding, you have to add a data source. Currently, we only support the tables inside the information hub, but we hope to in the future have support for FTP servers, for external data sources, anything you can just pull in and then apply our dashboarding software to it. So add a data source, type table, I'm going to call it data, Canvas forum, check that it does actually connect, successful. Then you get an overview of all the data and the types, any aggregates you'd like to apply. You can rename the columns at this point if you want to make them a bit more reader friendly. And then you can just save it. Good. So let's create a component. Scatter plot, call it question 1. This is question 2. We'd like to select from our data source. Let's do it by email. And we'd like to compare question 1 on the x-axis to question 2. Good. There we have my singular data point at 23 and 6. We can add filters to this. So if you'd like to be able to see only the input sent by a specific person, or if you're collecting some kind of data with a category, you can filter across that. So let's have an email filter, data source. We'd like to filter on the email. So you see that there's only one. So if I go to my table and I click add another row, let's make a break. And we add 416 back to our dashboard. We'll see that there's 2 data points. We're able to filter out the ones that we don't want to look at. Let's maybe check on the locations. So we'd like to have a map. The nice thing about maps in our app is that it allows you to have multiple layers, canal layers, heat maps, all of them on top of each other, and you can toggle them on and off. I personally like point maps a lot more. People have a thing for heat maps. Data source, and then just the latitude, the longitude. And then you can add images or other information to the dot on a point map. So if you've been collecting data and you snapped a few pictures, you upload those to the same table. And then when you go to the map and you click on that dot on the map, it will open up the thumbnails for those pictures and then any other information you'd like to add. Good. There we go, layer. So first layer. Yes. There we go. So but that's what happens when you click around on the map and you don't use your current location. We can scale this down if we'd like. That's maybe a bit too tiny. So that it fits in next to our scatter plot. And then you have access to all kinds of things. Bar plots. You can embed dashboards, website pages from any other website. I'll show a few of the nicer dashboards we have. Filter, we do have Google Earth Engine support. I've never seen someone use it. It's a bit too much power. Line graphs, maps, scatter plots, scorecard. So let's say, for instance, I'd like to know how many entries I have in my data. And do a count of just the ID is good. And you can see we have 2 entries into our data. And this is all in the same app, one website. And the app that you download on your phone has the same functionality. We do have 2 apps. The one is just the information of the app, and then there's the Go app. The Go app is a bit of a smaller package. If you don't want all of these tabs and stuff complicating it, then you can install the Go app instead. It uses the same login, so you don't have to register multiple times. So you have a dashboard, you have a form, you have a table, and you'd like to make it available to other people to use. That's where our no-coding app comes into. So you can create apps, so code this demo app. Open it up, and then we can edit it. add a page, and then anything on the information hub that has a shareable link, you can add to your app. So I would like to have the form here, and I would like to have the dashboard here. So I can add a page. As well. Click on the form, click on the shareable link. Place it there. Add it. So there's our form. Dashboard, share, page. There we have it. So if I go home, apps, and this is the view you'll get on your Go app as well. You can go here and you only have access to the things you shared. You can go to the form, you can go to the dashboard. And all of it still works. So that's practically the little teaser that we had. Let's have, I was quick, but I'm not that fast. Let's see how many people actually follow the questionnaire. So the dashboard for the exam. So the idea with the example project is that you have access to a bit of everything that the hub has. You'll see dashboards, forms, the manager, wiki pages, storage, all of it you can look at, see what you like, what you don't like. You can edit the project. So 13 people is a lot. Considering that I think I've spiked 3 data points. So 10 people played along. Let's see the spread on question 3 was the one about the pond. Don't know who said one day, but
So it was me, I didn't finish the question.
I didn't finish it.
I guess the end of the question.
Yeah. So you can see quite a few people know about the classic pond question about dumping. Yeah, it's one of the bugs we still need. One of the more. Few people, I think the answers are 5 and 5, if I remember correctly. Obviously, all of us are here, except a few seed questions, but someone is.
The people are 9.
So you can see if we're really picking, we can try and spot everyone, but I don't feel that much. But you can see the idea being that you have all of the things we've just built, just a bit more fleshed out. Comparisons, bar charts, maps, all of it. So before we finish short, because I think I'm just close, a few of the more practical things we do with the hub. The center management is a project that almost only I am on, but the 296 sciences are kind of my babies at this point. I do use the same things that everyone else uses. You missed the quick internet. So I have to keep track of all 296 of them. So I have some filters and some dashboards to help me out. It gets a bit overwhelming sometimes. Obviously, keeping track of where they are is important because leaving them in the field is a very bad idea. But you can see that the campus here is full to the brim of all kinds of monitoring sensors. The diagnostic clinics are here, all 32 of them. Kiwi food, historical data, campus facility bookings. Don't know if we used monitor for this, we should. Daily units, field units, national monitoring for certain companies, all kinds of data. Traffic counting, engineering for likes to check how many cars go by. Whichever comes into Hatfield, they have a little sensor camera there that counts cars as they drive by. Something to do with tarmac and the road use. We have weather stations. If you have a need for weather data, there's a weather station on engineering for that data gets sent to weather underground that gets piped onto the information hub. As I said, we have 30 years of historical weather data, and we're adding more sources each day. And I think that's it. Let's call it there. So I'm not the only one working on this. We have, well, there we go. We have quite a few people who have worked on this project, who've since left, or still working on this project, if they're healthy again. And then if you'd like to know more, or build your own project, or get in touch with us. We do have more training sessions, more in-depth training sessions to ours also in the future. You're more than welcome to join. If you go to our website, so www.informationhub.io, there's a form, welcome information hub that you can fill in, and then we'll get an email saying that you'd like to attend one of our training sessions. And with that, everything from my side.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Hannes. This, can you guys hear me? It almost felt like a quarter information hub. Because if it was an exam and I just gave you the paper and say, just do one of these, I don't think 10% would be aiming very high. But the point was just for us to illustrate the capability and the capacity of the tool, and to also show the team behind the development of the tool, which is a team at the University of Pretoria. An important point is that it's a tool that can be used by researchers and students, and it ensures that the data management is secure, and it also enables for collaboration to happen between researchers and practitioners as well, in terms of sharing of data and analyzing data, visualization of data, and also quite important is user-friendly tool for purposes, for multiple purposes that people would want to use it for. So what I would want to do, is there any question for Hannes? To raise your hand, and then I'll allow Hannes to just field a few questions. Any questions on the floor?
Honest, it's not a question. I think I've wanted him so much that I wouldn't bother the question today. It's more of a comment, and it's a comment of appreciation, because when the app or when information hub was initially, for me it was a headache. I was like, what people want from us? Why people run it? Why? But today I'm enjoying the benefits of using the information hub, especially on managing the project and people that want to tell me. It's easier because I can check on my laptop, I can check when I'm at home. Somebody will say, let's come, I need to make a booking, I made a booking, and they lie. I just simply go on the app and I check and I'm like, no, you haven't. So I think, thank you so much. And I think people just need to understand that Hannes, as busy as he is, I think when I send an email and say I'm struggling, a day doesn't go by, I get a response immediately. So I think that is what makes the joy of using the app. That there is a problem, I email you to answer immediately. So it's not that I wait a week for you to give me a response. So from the Innovation Africa DP campus, I think I really want to relay my gratitude to you and keep up doing the good work.
I'd like to mention that the idea of the information hub is not to replace the tools you already use. We pride ourselves on our ability to integrate any tool, be it an external data source, a different way of collecting or visualizing your data. And if you get stuck, email us. It's literally our job to make sure that you are as comfortable using this tool as for whatever purpose you'd like. And currently it's free. So upload your students' data. We do have a task tracker. So if you'd like to keep an extra eye on a student or make sure that your supervisor reads your dissertation, then get them on the information hub, make a project, and get stuck, let me know. Then.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you. I always have to sit through these so I can learn a little bit more each time. I think you mentioned it, but I missed it. How much data can we download in one go? And when will we have to start paying for storage?
Oh, so the hard cap on downloading data, I think, is 200,000 rows of data. If there's any more that you did store, you can send us an email and we'll send you a copy of it. We are working to improve that. As the data grows, I think our census just hits 12 million rows of data. So we're constantly working to make that importing and exporting your data without the need to use code a lot smoother. Currently, we do not have any plans on putting a price tag on it. It's currently, like we said, a community-driven thing. So upload as much data as you want. If you plan on going into the terabytes, or maybe in the half terabytes, send us an email. Currently, this does run on the cloud platform, which means that we do pay for the actual storage, but we are currently working with UP facilities to hook the on-premises, I think it's 2 petabytes of data storage up to the information hub as well, which means that everyone that works at UP will then have fast, almost unlimited storage without needing to pay a cent. But that's still a bit out. So if you do plan on uploading something like, just give us a heads up. We'll probably need to help you upload it in.
If that conversation is to take place, we'll notify you. Well, I don't know the time. But the idea is to have a platform that is very collaborative, that enables research to take place at the highest level, and make it easy, not cumbersome. Any other question? This one question that you was. Just raise your hand so that I can see you.
Never also has a question.
All right, I'll go and line this room.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Just wanted to find out, is it safe for us to store our data on it without anyone else using it for their publications?
Yes.
Stealing data without publications.
So you have total and complete control of your data on the information hub. We as the developers don't even have access to your data unless you explicitly add us to your project and give us the ability to look at your data. So if you create a project, that thing is locked up tight. Anyone that you want to have access to that data, you have to personally add to the project and then also give them the permission to actually look at the data. So we have a whole suite of ability to fine tune what they can and cannot do on your project, even if you do have it. You can make them only able to see the forms, but not look at the data. Or only look at the data, but not look at your data. And all of that is in your hands. We do tend to be on your projects just because it makes it easier for us to help you, but you can always remove us or not add us at all. So it's 100% in your hands.
Yeah, I think just to underscore the point that you're making is that security is very critical for a system of this nature. And so we've taken a deliberate and conscious effort to make sure that all security features that relate to privacy, sharing, collaboration is driven by the researcher and ensure that there's integrity in using the system and the security of your data in the system. Is there someone online?
Yeah, that's Lego.
Lego, please go ahead.
Oh, hi, Hannes. Thank you for the presentation. I just want to know, like, with the if we're using the information hub for like surveys, for example, I switched off my location. So and I might have missed this in your presentation, but if you are doing a survey and you've sent out the form and you need location, but people have switched off their location, is it possible that this that the app can pick up, the nearest, I don't know, cell phone tower, or I don't know what. So is it possible that you can still get that kind of information even if it's not provided to you by the user?
So unfortunately, if a user opens the form, they'll get a prompt to allow location access. If they decline, then we are, for security reasons, not allowed to collect their location. You have triangulation or the GPS or any other way. What you can do though is have the form require that the location be filled in, which means that they won't be able to submit the form if they aren't willing to give the location as well. But from a security standpoint, we can't force people to provide information that they don't want to provide.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Lego. Is there anyone else tonight? All right. let's just say for one more point is that there is in-depth training. Should you wish to have an engagement with the team around your project, as the researcher, there's an opportunity to engage with them. We'll set up a date and then ensure that more in-depth training that's tailored to your needs is provided. This was just a broad stroke to just illustrate the capabilities of the tool. So ladies and gentlemen, just again, give us an opportunity to just thank Hannes and the team for preparing such a wonderful talk and for a wonderful tool that we hope that the university and the students would use that would be beneficial for them. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you so much.